Welcome back to Every Way Woman. So you can't take good care of anyone unless you take care of yourself, but women classically self-sacrifice, you know? And I feel like, for instance, Madison, you have kids. How do you not put them before you? You lose yourself.
No, you can't. Kids come before everything else. But you know, you don't think of it that way. A lot of times you don't think of what you do and the energy that you put into things as self-sacrifice. You just do it. I know for sure when I was growing up, every now and then we get knocked aside the head, and you know, I'd look at my mom and she'd go, "You'll understand," you know. And then
do you understand?
Yes, I do. I do now because I walked up to my mother the other day and I just hugged her and I just started to cry and she's holding me and she's looking at me like, "Why? Why are you doing this?" I was like, "I understand."
Yeah. Amber, do you understand being a mother? I mean, have you lost any sense of yourself?
Child, I ain't lost none of myself. I'm not losing myself on them kids. I love my babies, but I was like, look, you on mommy's train, okay? Mommy not on your train. But no, I mean, but I recently got a new job where I can take my kids to work with me. And it has been such a blessing. It's like, you know, it's like a camp, and they go and they have a great time. You know, I have Kai, he's 4, Sny's 8. So, I mean, really, they love what I do. They're like my cheerleaders, actually. So,
well,
I mean,
you know what? That's interesting you mentioned that because the whole business about you're on mommy's time. See, that's how I grew up. You know, in my family, you know, my mom and my dad, they did their thing, and we just went along for the ride. It's like this is our world. You are in it, and yet 2 of my best friends have what I consider to be very, very child-centric families. And I look at the way that they operate in that model, and I'm just like, I look at it and I'm terrified because I'm like, well, is that what parenting is now?
Do you feel
that wouldn't work for me?
Cheryl, do you feel like you've lost your friends in that?
You know what? No, because I'm the only single one left, so I kind of go and snatch them back into reality every so often. You know, but even that said, I think because I'm the single one, then I'm the one who does the most reaching out. I do the most planning and coordinating. And in fact, most of the time I have to go do things that are centered around kids if I want to be able to participate.
Absolutely.
Anna, you're single, but do you ever feel like you've had a tendency to lose yourself in a relationship where you sacrificed who you were?
Oh my goodness, I have a story for you. Yeah, of course. I mean, in a relationship, I was with somebody for 7 years, and everything was about them. You know what I mean? And I you know, it was too much.
Have you dated somebody with kids?
Yeah, he had kids. He had 2. It was horrible when we broke up. Like it was horrible.
But what now?
Now I put myself first. I'm too selfish, and I am happy that I say that because I went through a lot, and I'm and now.
So is this a stage in your life where you're deciding
I'm not being
to
selfish.
make
I don't have kids. I'm fine. It's about me.
See, I'm sorry. Oh well, I'm just guilty to a fault of putting everybody else before me. My friends, my lovers, my parents, anyone, and I never saved time for myself. And I finally realized that at a point I wasn't doing a good job of meeting anybody's needs in these relationships because I never took care of myself. I mean, for years I did this.
And when I'm divorced now, but when I was married, I was guilted into staying into the marriage because I wasn't being a good mother. I wasn't putting my children's needs first, and therefore I had to stay in a relationship where I had lost myself. And there was a lot of guilt play in that, and you're not doing this, well, you're not being a good wife.
Did you
you're not
believe
doing
that?
this. And I did. And because it was supported by other family members.
Right.
You know, well, he's the husband. He should lay down the law. Oh, you are a mom now. You cannot.
And I would have been like, so you're going to be daycare for me.
Right. They all live in other states at that time.
Right.
But I wonder, at what point then did you realize you had lost yourself and you wanted to get back to the Madison we know and love?
When I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't know who I was.
Wow.
That's what happened.
What did that look like to you, Madison?
It was looking at a stranger. And you see the image, but you don't know who it is, and that person doesn't make sense to you anymore. And that's why I had to do that. I did that for my children, right? Because I didn't want them to grow up with a mother who was living in the shell of herself.
Do you think that addicts have a tendency to do that? I mean, they lose themselves to what they're addicted to. Mostly, I had a very close friend of mine who was addicted to drugs, and she lost herself essentially to that. Same could be said with friends of mine who have had eating disorders. That became them.
But I think anything you give your attention to, that's your treasure. That's your true treasure. So I mean, like my children, they're my treasure. I love them, but at the same time, I don't want to lose myself. I came out here with a purpose, with a goal, and for them to be like my biggest cheerleaders is the best thing in life. And in that, I can cheer them on
Right.
with whatever they want to do, you know. But if I consume myself with them all the time, you're right. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to say, what happened to me? You're
Right.
wearing sweats and a bandana.
Oh gosh.
Were you looking in my mirror?
Were you looking in my mirror?
Yeah,
You
shit.
can wear
I look at
sweats,
sweats, bandana. I'm looking at myself and going, shit. I used to look nice.
mascara a little dark. You're like, what happened? I can't put on makeup no more. I mean, it's just priceless. So, I mean, you have to take care of yourself. And guess what? When you have a dream, your children are part of the dream, life is bigger than life itself. So.
Exactly. That's what I want to do. I want to be the example for my children, so that so that they can live their life without regrets, and because they can look at me and see that I did exactly the same.
Well, I'm going to just try and live an example to all of you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Every Way Woman.